Do you ever feel like you know what's good for you but struggle to form and maintain healthy habits? Or maybe there's that one habit that you can't seem to shake, no matter how hard you try. I also felt this way until I read the book The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg, which changed my life. In this video I'm going to share the most important lessons I learned that now help me stick to my desired habits so you can too, without relapse. Hey friends, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name's Mahin and I'm a physiotherapist specialising in pain management based in the UK. On this channel we explore lifestyle strategies and tools to help create healthier and happier lives. Today I'm going to tell you the 4 lessons that I learned from reading The Power of Habit that helped me understand and influence my own habit formation so that I could take control of my health and achieve my goals. So let's get into it. There are 3 components of every habit that we have. Firstly, there's a cue that signals that an action needs to be taken. For example, your alarm clock going off in the morning. This creates a spike in your brain activity as it decides which habit is most appropriate for this situation. Next is the routine, the sequence of activity that's most likely to follow that cue. In the case of your alarm going off, it may be making your bed, going into the bathroom to brush your teeth, or maybe lying in bed scrolling on social media. Your brain is likely to be on autopilot when carrying out this routine as it is so well ingrained. Finally, you get the reward, whether this is a clean, minty fresh mouth or a shot of dopamine as you look at engaging Instagram content. Your overall brain activity increases again as it registers the successful completion of that routine and reinforces the positive feedback loop between the cue and the routine. 40% of the actions we make daily are based on habit and in most cases are extremely resilient. Take people who've had a traumatic brain injury, for example, who are unable to recognize where they are or who they're speaking to, but can recall certain situations like being able to make a cup of tea in their own house. They'll be able to go and find the cup and know the process to make the tea because of that habit that had already been formed earlier on in life. And this is why understanding our habits and how they are formed is so essential if we want to make new ones and break old ones. To learn more about forming healthy habits and achieving your goals, check out my free email course that I'll leave a link to in the description below. This is a step-by-step week-long course that will see you living in line with your values and moving towards your goals by day 7. So be sure to check that out. Craving leading to carrying out a habit is easy to see in our daily lives. 6 months ago, I wanted to stop drinking caffeine after midday. As you know, I'm a sucker when it comes to a good coffee, and I've been drinking coffee up until 4 PM for years. But to help my sleep, I wanted to stop after 12. Initially, when I cut out my post-lunch coffee, I experienced what I can only describe as withdrawal effects. Headaches, fatigue, dry mouth, dizziness, and of course I had a significant craving for the coffee that I didn't have. And all I could see was my coffee machine staring at me from across the kitchen with the sun coming in and shining off its pretty dials. And it was so hard to not have that coffee. Trust me, it took so much willpower to break that habit. If I'd given into this craving and rewarded myself with that coffee, it would have only strengthened that cue, routine, reward loop, and that craving would have only been strengthened as well. However, we can use this craving to our advantage when trying to form a new habit. For example, those who exercise regularly actually crave something from that exercise. Whether that is an endorphin boost, a sense of accomplishment, or a treat they give themselves afterwards. And it's this craving that solidifies the habit. It's also why starting a habit is the hardest part, because that craving hasn't been formed yet. But actually, once you've been doing it for a while and that craving is formed, it's the craving that keeps you going back to that habit that you want to do. The craving that we feel is understood and widely used by companies and advertisers to entice people to their products. They often provide a reward to the craving people feel. It's no wonder a large proportion of adverts on TV are for fast food. The good news is, to change a habit, we don't always need to create a new craving or create a new cue, routine, reward loop. Instead, we can substitute one routine for another. So keep the cue, keep the reward, but just change the routine, perhaps for a healthier one. A good example of this working well is Alcoholics Anonymous. AA gets people to list what they crave from drinking, which are usually things like relaxation and companionship, which are far more important than the actual toxification. AA then provides new routines that address those cravings, like going to meetings, finding other methods of relaxation, and talking to sponsors for companionship. From my experience as a physio and research out there on behaviour change, it's really hard to get people to make changes to their lifestyle. However, when focusing on developing one keystone or central habit, such as keeping a daily journal, other beneficial habits start to be formed as well. In this example, the keystone habit of daily journaling brings awareness to lifestyle areas that may be influencing other areas, such as reduced activity levels, leading to poorer eating habits, which then leads to lower energy levels. Keystone Habits work by providing small wins, as you only have to focus on one area. By seeing early changes in this one area, it can make us see that improvements can be made in other areas of our life as well. And this starts a positive snowball effect across all your other habits as well. So this is good news, because rather than focusing on all of the habits that you want to change, you actually only have to focus on one keystone habit and allow that positive snowball effect to take place across all your other habits as well. So the key for having an influence over our habits is understanding the cravings and the cue, routine, reward loops associated with them. By understanding these, we can replace one routine with another desired one that responds to the same cue and has the same reward, but is a healthier routine. And having that awareness to reflect and adapt to do this also gives us the ability to grow in our lives. So if you enjoyed this video, check out my personal growth playlist that talks about ways that you can develop as a person, both personally and professionally. Thanks for watching, take care, and I'll see you next week.